or you can just stay in the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention, which would be Article 147. You cannot delineate a race and make that race a blood quantum for two reasons. Why is that? Is that because we can't split our cell? Because the technology hasn't split the cell to tell you that that cell has 50% blood? Or is it that cell has a quarter blood? Or maybe that blood is pure? Unfortunately, that technology doesn't exist. It didn't exist when I was in college 45 years ago, and it still doesn't exist today. So essentially, the goal of the United States Corporation that is incorporated under the Organic Act of 1871 under England, under the 10-mile square known as the Municipal Corporation of the District of Columbia, definitely wanted our people not to be here by the year 2000. Well, I guess we proved them wrong. In knowing that, and there is no blood quantum, I want to explain the fact that we have all this aina and all this land started with our first major constitution of the Kingdom of Hawaii. That was in 1840 under Kauikeauli, King Kamehameha III. King Kamehameha III is vastly important because he sent his ambassadors out to what? To insulate our land. That he would, in 1848, divide his personal lands, his kingdom lands, and he would divide a third to the people, a third to his ruling chiefs, 256 of them, and a third to his heirs and successors. That would be the crown lands. The government lands went to the 256 ruling chief, and the Kuleana lands went to our people. They were fee simple lands. Now he sent these ambassadors all over the world to insulate what he would do under his 1848 mahele. And in doing so, he put those lands in landlordial titles. Do you know what a landlordial title or anolodial title is? That is in perpetuity, omao, and can never be what? Especially the crown lands, can never be taxed, lien, sold, or mortgaged. And why is that? Why would that be? Our landlordial titles are from grantor to grantor. They are the highest landlordial titles in the world. And that is deemed from the Spanish royal patents that were the first international patents to extend from Spain into the New World, into South America or wherever. Spain was the first, wasn't England. So the landlordial patents is what Kauikeauli put our land under. And in our Constitution of Kingdom Law, he preserved it starting in 1840, 1850, and then the 1864 treaty, which was under Kamehameha V. All our titles are still preserved in total perpetuity under Article 35 of Kingdom Law. In order for us to preserve our land, our entitlements, and our trusts, our Kanaka Maoli people have to realize that the preservation of our Constitution, the first world constitution accepted by all the world powers with over 90 embassies and 59 treaties, with a gold standard under Kamehameha V, and with King Kalakaua was the founding member of the UPU. That gave us commerce. Our kingdom had a gold standard, which separates us from the 563 Indian tribes. They didn't have currency. I'm wearing our 1883 dimes right here. That's our currency. That's our commerce. We were a neutral, preferred trader, friendly kingdom. Our commerce is locked into our gold standard by Kamehameha V, also our UPU. You could not have commerce unless you had a postal union. Why is that so important? Because that postal union extended our communications with world powers to 59 treaties. They are all listed in Bern, Switzerland, and that's why It's so important for our people to understand that kingdom law preserves our land in perpetuity. More importantly, Kauikeauli made sure that it was all put under the King John's bench of 1215 of the Magna Carta. That's under English common law. You can't change it. Once you deviate from any of our constitutions and want to rewrite a constitution, then we have a problem. Because if you rewrite our constitution, you lose our land, you lose our trust, and you lose your benefit for life. Our land is ours, the United States. It's real interesting. Here we have the United States that invaded us off the USS Boston with 157 Marines and 10 officers. They came in with 140,000 ammunitions, a howitzer cannons, and a Gatling gun. 750 bullets a minute, right at the head of our queen, who was a legitimate ruler, and we had a constitutional monarchical government for 795 years, recognized by the world. Now you have the United States that comes in, and with the Committee of Safety, which were 13, 9 of them were Americans and sugar plantation people, well actually missionary sons. And they came in and they decided, they said, Minister Stevens says, oh, well, we're going to make you great, and we're going to take over the Queen. And now Queen Liliuokalani had already made the sugar plantation owners millionaires. Ha ha, they wanted to be billionaires. At what? The cost of my people. Every one of my people. With 1/16 to a quarter blood, not to mention the patriots that were not Hawaiians, that were also part of the kingdom that signed the Kuwait petition. Now the Kuwait petition is so important because when Queen Liliuokalani went to Washington in 1897, along with the Patriotic League, she signed and took back what? 4 million acres of kingdom land. That is a legal protest, documented and signed by all our kapunas on every island, and they did it through all the churches. And because of this, she submitted that with her protest. She took back 4 million acres of land. Do you know what that's called? We call it the Red Ribbon Document. In 2005, I found it again because Noe Silva had found it with the Kuwait petition, but it wasn't released. I went back to the largest archives in the world in College Park, Maryland, and I received the document. That is a lien of every acre of land, 4 million acres of land. And guess what? If you deviate from our constitutional law and you rewrite our Constitution, you lose your land. You lose your benefits. You lose everything. Kauikeauli insulated us under what? The Magna Carta of 1215. That is the oldest binding common law in the world. America comes in and said, oh, now we're going to hold the Queen at gunpoint, right? So what did they do? That's what they did. However, she never acquiesced. She never sold, leased, or conveyed any land, because we have the document of 1897, which is the Red Ribbon Document that can be found in College Park, Maryland, which is the archive evidence that our 4 million acres of land has been liened. The United States needs your permission from Naiapuni, from OHA, from anyone in the Department of Transportation under U.S. constitutional law is what? It's outside its jurisdiction under the 1791 constitutional law. Remember that those laws that they try to impose on us? Guess what? They can't. Do you know why they can't practice U.S. law here?
This is not the U.S.
Because what? Tell me.
This is not the U.S.
This is not the United States. Now, how do we know that's not the United States? How do you know that we're in Hawaii?
Because we're in Polynesia.
Because I'm here. You're in the Pacific Ocean.
We have actually the joint resolution of July 7th, 1898 is what? What is a joint resolution? Does anyone know U.S. constitutional law? A joint resolution is a domestic law of the United States that has its boundaries within the lower 48. Did you hear what I just said?
Yes, loud and clear.
The joint resolution that has been irrefutably, undeniably proved by Dr. Professor Williamson Chang. And you know why? I know because I went last July and I followed his footsteps through the manuscript section of the Library of Congress, and I found every document that he has testified and shown to our people relentlessly for years. I can substantiate all his work because I went and followed his trail. And the trail of betrayal is that you